And so, our battle came to an end. The god, awakened by human hands, was returned to sleep once again by human hands. On the morning after, a refreshing breeze blew across Wales, and the horrible events leading up to yesterday seemed like nothing more than a bad dream. Soon, it was time to say farewell to everyone. Keith, our handsome vampire, grew weary of the hustle and bustle of the outside world, and so he returned once again to his peaceful castle in Transylvania. I wonder how many centuries he'll sleep this time. Good night.
Who knows?
And sweet dreams, dear friend.
Keith, I love you.
Master Zhuzhen, our brave Taoist adept, has gone back to Shanghai to mend the disruptions in the energy fields of China. You taught us so much, Master Zhuzhen. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and please, try not to overexert yourself. Our beloved spy for hire said she planned to go home to Paris.
Japan.
But she joked about how her next assignment was probably already waiting for her. So, there's no telling where she might be right now. Hallie, that cute little street boy we met in London, set sail from Southampton with his mother, Kodelka, to find his long-lost father in America. Finally, they'll be able to live together as a family. I pray you'll all find happiness. As for me, I'm headed for Zurich, where my mother's waiting. With Yuri, of course.
Ultimate OTP right there. Yeah, there we go. Shadow Hearts. Great game. Fantastic. I'm glad we got it done today. We spent basically 4 hours. So, I mean, not bad. Pretty good. We didn't get to do the cave temple because the boss was terrible. And then we also didn't get to do the final fusion because we had to do the cave temple boss. But, you know, it would have been longer. That would have added, like, what, another hour? Probably another, like, hour and a half to the game. Not much, but, you know, unfortunate. We didn't get to do that. But overall, we got a lot done in this game. Only 26 hours, so I mean, you know, Shadow Hearts is, it's not a long game. It's pretty short. I did the side quest too, so, like, you could finish it, like, I probably spent, like, another, like, I don't know, 3 to 5 hours doing side quests, so, like, this would have been a little shorter if I didn't do all those side quests. Overall, the game is good. I still like it as much as when I played it 4 months ago. I'd probably give it, like, an 8 out of 10, I think. I think an 8 out of 10 is fair. It's a great game that's worth it if you like JRPGs. It's an absolute classic. The characters are really good. I love the cast of this game. The story is like not the best, but I love the atmosphere and tone of the game. I love the horror melded with JRPG aspects and anime tropes and stuff. Like, I love the setup. I love the setup of Yuri needing to protect Alice and having the voice inside his head, which we find out is Kudelka later. The whole Albert Simon stuff. The Albert Simon twist is actually really good. I love the idea that Albert Simon, who was originally Roger Bacon, and then he was going under an alias and stuff. The stuff with gods and everything. It's really good. I don't think the story's like the best ever, but I think the story gets its job done. I like the premise and I like the atmosphere of the game. It's fantastic. And I also love the real-world locations used in the game, like London and Prague and Bistritz and stuff, and Europe and Asia and stuff. I love the real-world locations. And the time period this game takes place in. I think the setting and the atmosphere is probably like one of the best things about Shadow Hearts 1. Shadow Hearts in general. Shadow Hearts does great with the real-world setting. I love the settings of the games. But yeah, the story, it's not gonna, like, it might not blow your mind if you play a lot of RPGs. The setting and atmosphere do enough to make it seem unique, though. Because of the whole, like, the vibe is just, like, unique. You don't get, like, this kind of game with other games. Shadow Hearts just feels different. Even if it deals with the whole, hey, Albert Simon becoming a god and everything, or summoning a god, and, like, you know, doing his shenanigans, it feels cliche, but it's like, it's not that cliche. It still feels very different and innovative and fresh. And that's because of the setting and the atmosphere. Honestly, my only real complaints with the game, the gameplay is fun. Don't get me wrong, I like the Judgment Ring. It's really cool, really innovative, and really fun. The bosses get really bulky later in the game. So, I mean, that's my one complaint. And also, the balancing for the game is weird. Not the difficulty, but the party members. There's no bench XP, so you're not really incentivized to use every character. Because if you did, you would have to grind everyone out because there's no bench XP. And the game kind of feels like it requires Alice for a lot of the boss fights. Unless you just use Yuri's light fusions. Like that final boss, for example, if you do not use Alice for that fight, and if you're using like another fusion with Yuri, you're screwed. You kind of need an AoE heal because everything he did was AoE. In a game with 3 party members, it's just like, I don't know. It's a little lame that it's like, hey, you kind of have to use Alice in a way. Arc is just too good, and the game is balanced around the fact that you're using Alice. So the balancing of the party members is kind of weird. I feel like the game, like, the party members just feel imbalanced. But also, because there's no bench XP, you're not really gonna try using every character because you would have to grind them up. Unless you're... Maybe if I was playing this game on my own time, which I did, I'd probably use party members a little more. But for a playthrough, I was like, I don't want to switch party members too much because, like, I want to just, like, move on the game and not have to grind. So, like, those are my only real issues with Shadow Hearts. The gameplay is fun, and I like the Judgment Ring, but the bosses late game get a little bulky, and also the imbalance of the party members. Honestly, those are like the only 2 issues with the game, period. The villains aren't anything special. Like, Albert Simon as a villain, he and his theatricals were neat. They served their purpose really well. He's not like the best villain ever. He's not even like a great villain, but he served his purpose well as a motivation for Yuri. Like, he was a good enough villain to keep the plot moving. And there were villains like Daehuai, and then also the Japanese army, and they served their purpose well for the first part of the game, the Asia part. The Europe part of the game is insane. The Asia stuff is good, but the Europe part is insane. It gets insane with the Europe stuff with Alice's father, and the stuff with Albert Simon, the real Roger Bacon, and the whole gods and everything. Yuri's whole past being resolved. So yeah, Shadow Hearts is great. Yuri's a good protagonist. I like the characters of the game. I think Zhuzhen, Hallie, and Alice are good, but Yuri, Keith, and Margaret are the standouts. I like all the characters, but like, you could cut them in half, right? The top ones are Yuri, Margaret, and Keith, in no particular order. I'd probably put Yuri at the top, because he gets the most focus. The thing with Hallie comes way too late in the game. He had his stuff with his mom, Kudelka, but like other than that, he comes way too late in the game. Zhuzhen's also pretty cool, and Alice is also, like, neat. Like, the other 3 are good, but like, the top 3 are the best. Easily. But good characters, great cast. Great atmosphere, great tone.
As the Warlock said in the end, even if another age of storms buffets this world, I intend to go on living and fighting for you who freed me from the darkness, for the one I love.
So there is your lead up for Shadow Hearts Covenant. As I've said before, this is the bad ending of the game. That's the lead up for Covenant. The Prince of the Austro-Hungarian Empire is assassinated. Summer, that same year, the Great War I begins. Oh, is that World War I? I'm pretty sure it is. The end. So that's your lead up for Covenant. That's the one that leads into Covenant. I never seen the good ending. I don't know what happens in the good ending. But that is the one that's canon for Covenant. And obviously, for people who play Covenant, Yuri is still the protagonist. Yuri is the protagonist of Covenant, so we'll be seeing, like, Yuri's journey continues with Covenant. So, like, Covenant is very much like, hey, the result of, like, Alice being dead, and Yuri has to, like, overcome that grief and everything. That is basically the purpose of Covenant, to, like, for Yuri to, that's my original file, I want to keep that. I'll save over here. That is, like, basically the premise for Covenant, of Yuri just trying to grieve with the loss of Alice, and Yuri is still the main character. But, yeah. So, that's the canon ending for Covenant, which is why I wanted to get the bad ending. I'm gonna stay here because I don't want it to play, like, the little game opening. Overall, what can I say about Shadow Hearts that hasn't really been said already? I don't know. I mean, the game is good. I give it, like, an 8 out of 10, I think. It was great. My only real issues are, first of all, I don't like how bosses get spongy later in the game. It mostly only happens, like, in the last, like, 3 hours. Mostly the final dungeon that started the show, but, like, other than that, it's not too bad. And also the imbalance of party members is unfortunate. And the music is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not, like, one of my favorites. Like, Shadow Hearts is a soundtrack. Like, I don't tend to memorize the music when I'm not playing the game. When I'm playing the game, I'm like, oh, the music's pretty good. It's got some bops, but, like, it's not, like, one of my favorite soundtracks. I think it's good enough, though. And then the presentation is really nice. They didn't use enough voice acting in the game, but this game was made in 2001. It kind of gets a pass. This was, like, around FF10 time, and FF10 obviously had a bigger budget than this game, so, I mean, this game was also meant to be a PS1 game, but it wasn't, so, like, I give that a pass. There was, like, little voice acting, and the voice acting's not, like, great, it's passable, but there also isn't much of it, so, like, I can't really critique that too much. I will say Covenant and From the New World are going to do a lot more with the voice acting. They up the voice acting. Covenant's, like, not 100% voice, but Covenant has more cinematic cutscenes with voice acting, so they up it there. And I'm pretty sure they don't reprise the role, so this Yuri voice actor is not the same as Covenant. I think they get someone different. But, I don't know what else to say. The fusions are cool. I like the fusions. I like the malice system. I'm trying to think of what's wrong with the game. I tend to, like, I draw myself to what's, like, what I don't like about the game more than what I like about it. Because what I like about it is, like, oh, I loved it. Like, I liked it. It was great. I don't know. I mean, the game's length, I don't mind it being short. Because, like, some stuff, Yuri stuff is going to be continuing to Covenant. But the other characters, like, you know, we'll see stuff here and there. But, like, Yuri will be more of a focus in Covenant. We'll get more with him. And that's, like, the reason why Covenant is a direct sequel to the original. Like, I mean, Covenant is weird because it's, like, in some ways it feels like a different game and not a direct sequel, but it very much is a direct sequel because, like, without the original Shadow Hearts, you missed the whole point of, like, Yuri's character and stuff. They don't really, like, waste... They might give you the gist of, like, oh, this is, like, what Yuri's going through, but, like, you don't really understand Yuri as a protagonist if you don't play the original Shadow Hearts. So, in a way, the original Shadow Hearts feels like a prologue for Shadow Hearts 2, but, like, 20 to 30 hours worth. And it feels like its own game. It's not like Arc the Lab 1, where it's, like, an 8-hour game. It still is its own game. But Shadow Hearts 2 kind of completes Shadow Hearts 1 in a way. But, yeah. Raptor, you came at the very end, unfortunate. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I think Shadow Hearts 1 is great. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. I think. It's great. We'll get the Covenant soon. Maybe in the summer. I don't know when I'm going to play Covenant. I do want to play Covenant soon-ish. Not right now, but in the future, like pretty soon. And then we'll play From the New World as well, pretty close to when we play Covenant. I just want all the Shadow Hearts games done this year, so we'll get to them soon. I'm looking forward to them because Shadow Hearts 1 was great, and I do like all the Shadow Hearts games. I think Shadow Hearts 1 is my favorite, but we'll get more into that when I actually play the other two, but they're all great in their own right. So yeah, that's it for this playthrough. It was pretty fun, really good game. And I'll be back for Shadow Hearts Covenant and From the New World sometime soon. I'll get to them really soon. But yeah, tomorrow we're... No, don't play that. Tomorrow we're playing Persona 5 Royal, I think? I think it's Persona tomorrow. Yeah, Persona tomorrow, then we'll do FF3 on Wednesday, and then we have to do Wild Arms Alter Code F. Basically, we're going to finish FF3, and then we'll start something new, because I did start FF3. I have to get that playthrough done. It should only have, like, maybe 3 more streams. Maybe I can make that shorter. Maybe I can make that shorter if I do longer streams. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, we want to finish FF3 before starting something new, I think. So we'll be starting something like next week or something, probably. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you all next time.